you look back at a life at 105 years old. I mean, that's almost unfathomable. What is it to you?
It's something that sometimes you just get overwhelmed. It's like, why me?
You were in a tenement. Did you have running water and electricity and?
Well, we didn't always have electricity. Pittsburgh was feeded mostly by gas, natural gas. And you had a little gadget on the wall. You had no ceiling lights. You had a little gadget on the walls, which was a gas outlet. And you bought what they call a mantle, which was about this big around. And it was of asbestos of some sort. And you put this on the fixture on the wall. You could put a globe on it, like a kerosene lamp. You could do that, but it was very poor light, so very difficult to read. And on Sunday, after church, you could buy a pass to ride the streetcar, to go to church and come back, and it was good for all day. And so me and my buddies, after church, we'd go to the streetcar stop. People get off, and they say, "You're going to use your pass?" And they give us their pass. And we just ride all over the street. I think I knew every streetcar line in Pittsburgh. And that was what we did on Sunday, because Pittsburgh was strictly blue laws. No restaurants, there was no prohibition, no drinking, no baseball games. Kids couldn't go to the lots and play baseball. So strictly blue laws.
So you're supposed to just stay in your house? And you guys were out running around on the trains?
Well, we just ride streetcar. And that was it. The people that got drafted with me, black and white, many of them were illiterate. I aced the test. And as a consequence, I had the right to choose which service I wanted to go to. I can go to the Army, the Navy, or the Marines. There was no Air Force at that time. It was a part of the Army. So I knew that if I could get in the Navy, I would be taught a trade. And I wanted to be, the radio was just coming out, but it was on a very small scale. And I wanted to be an electrician, but the service was not integrated at that time. And when I got out of service school, they were going to put into service a destroyer that was going to be all black, except for the officers. And the officers were going to be Southerners, because Southerners knew how to get along with black people, see? So I turned that down. I didn't want that. Before I bought the house, my apartment cost me $75 a month. It was in a good neighborhood. I had a car. My living expenses took a week and a half of pay, and I did everything I wanted to do. I went to the opera. I went down to Times Square to see plays. I was not interested in getting married. I worked for Sperry Gyroscope out in, there was a big housing development out on Long Island where workers lived. And I was working there, so I had a little commute. I was a senior lab technician at the time, and a very good job. After we finished this program, and just delivered this thing to MIT, and I had to go up here and demonstrate to write the instructions for how to use it. It was a very, very, very intricate, significant thing.
This is the 50s?
Yeah.
So this is all without computers. So what's
Oh, no,
is it just but it's the big
We had computers.
the big mainframes and the
We had computers, but it was a mixture of electromechanical computers.
yeah.
A lot of the things that had to be done with little simple motors. And I took a course in digital electronics so I could count ones and twos, zeros and ones. And my company got this contract on who built it.
What was I mean when you think about it, all that work, what are you the most proud of for your individual accomplishment?
What I did on the line. Because I had a subsystem that was built into the thing. And when it came time to test it, I had to write the procedure and how to test it. You got to remember, things on the limb, you couldn't operate on ground. See, there was two sections, the ascent section and the descent section. Now, it was a complete, by itself, rocket system. And it had to land on the moon, and it had a rocket to slow it down. And it was going to sit there. When the guys leave, they were going to get launched from that, just like they launched them from Kennedy. So it was a very, very, very complex thing. The engineers on land had to figure out a way with what they had in the vehicle and how to build a scrubber system. And they took a plastic thing out of one of the instructions book, and they had to tell them over the radio how to drill the holes and use them.
While it's in the air?
Was on these guys are suffering because the oxygen was not being clean, and they're going to die.
Well, what would you tell me is the key to living a good life?
Well, I would tell you get an education. You got to find out what you want to do and do everything you can to get to do that.
All right. Thanks, Robert. Thank you. It was an honor. Thanks for your service, and thanks for being an inspiration.